Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers, Season 1, Episode 24 of my show, but this is about Episode 27. But before I actually start talking about this episode, I just want to mention two things. The first thing is, after this video, we're going to be heading into a two-part episode in Season 1 of Power Rangers called Island of Illusion, which will start at... But since it's a two-part episode, I'm going to do like two separate videos. Because like I said, what I was going to do is if I ever got to like a 2 or 3 part episode, I would do 2 or 3 separate videos dependent on what parter it was. If it was a 2-part episode, 2 separate videos. But if it was a 3-part episode, 3 separate videos. And but also, if I got to like say a 4 or 5 part episode, I would condense the videos into one video for you guys. I just thought I'd mention that because the episode that I'm talking about now is, this is History of Power, because this episode I'm talking about is episode 27, so the next episode after this is part 1 of a 2-part episode, so that's why I just wanted to mention that. Okay, now getting back into it, this is History of Power Rangers Season 1, Episode 24 of my show, but this is about Episode 27. And episode 27 in the original Power Rangers series is known as Wheel of Misfortune. And the way this episode starts off is basically, what happens is, kids at the Angel Grove School, Kimberly, Jason and the rest of the students are doing rehearsals for a school play based off of the character Rumplestiltsskin. Anyway, and they're using Kimberly's grandmother's antique spinning wheel to make it as a prop for they're using her grandmother's spinning wheel as a prop for the play and stuff. And basically what happens is, Jason, who in play in this episode is he tells Emily, who's like the princess character for the play in this episode, that he has to prove when her father claims that she can spin all this straw into gold. Or else he'll lock her in the tower. Now, this isn't a real tower thing because it's a school play, but it's based off of based off a fairy tale. I just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, continuing on, then Kimberly calls Rumplestiltskin, who is Bulk's character in this episode, and then later on when Bulk shows up doing the rehearsal, yes, her if there's anything you can do to help. And then basically Kimberly tells Bulk, who is Rumplestiltskin in the play in this episode, that basically she has to spin all this straw into gold, otherwise she'll be locked in a tower and whatever. And then Bulk basically said that that's kind of bad, and oh my god, I'm sorry. Anyway, continuing on with what I was saying earlier. Oh, now that but before I continue, I just want to mention this beforehand. Now that I'm nearing the end of the 20 segment, I just want to let you guys know that technically, once we get to another 2-part episode that comes, technically after the, Island of Illusion 2-parter and the Island of Illusion 2-parter will be the final 2-part episode until a 2-parter in later on in season 1 where we'll see. Well, there will be 2-parters in this season that'll have Tommy as the Green Ranger. The first will be the next 2 episodes that I'm going to be covering separately, which is the Island of Illusion episode. And then the last one will be the Green Candle episode, which is another 2-part episode. And then after that, he won't show up much in the original first season of Power Rangers, except for as a kind of nearing the end segment of the 2-part episode Doomsday, which I believe is at episode 40. And then after episode 40, he won't show up again until the 2-part episode Return of an Old Friend. And then after that, every episode that I'm going to be talking about after that is going to be like one single episode. It's not going to be like a 2 or 3-part episode. Now, getting back in, before I continue with this episode that I'm talking about, I just want to let you guys know this ahead of time. The second season opener episode of the original Power Rangers series is a 3-part episode. So I just want to get that out of the way. And the next season after that, there's a 3-part episode season opener. I just wanted to get that out of the way just to let you guys know ahead of time that the next 2 season openers that I'm going to be talking about are going to be like a 3-part season opener segment. I thought I'd get that out of the way before I actually continued talking with this video. I just wanted to get that out of the way there. Anyway, getting back into what I was saying. Anyway, then Bulk, who is dressed up as Rumplestiltskin in this episode, comes toward Kimberly to help her with the play. And then after they do this, what happens is, while they're doing the rehearsal for the play, Bulk sits down after talking with Kimberly in the princess form. And then Kimberly tells Bulk to be careful because the spinning wheel that they're using for the play is her grandmother's antique spinning wheel. And he says it'll be fine. So then he spins it a couple of times, and then that causes it to break. And then Kimberly freaks out, and she tells him that he ruined her grandmother's spinning wheel. And basically what happens is, after that, she said that this happened to be really important to her. And then what happens after that is Mr. Kaplan says that they better take a break before something else gets broken. And then Bulk is telling Kimberly to not get so bent out of shape. And then it goes into a scene where Rita is on the moon and she's like, "Oh, I got a spinning wheel to spin you, and when it sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. Oh, okay, anyway, getting back into what I was saying earlier, after that, what happens is, crushed flat. I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious because it's because of the monster that's gonna be used. Now that I mentioned about the monster, I'm gonna explain about the monster later on. But this time around, in this season, the monster isn't a creature. It's something made from an object. In this case, Kimberly's grandmother's spinning wheel. Now, what happens is Rita casts a spell on it and turns it into her dread wheel of misfortune. Now that's partly going to play into what's going to happen through most of the entirety of season number 2. Now, the reason why I say most of the entire second season is because a couple of major things will happen in the second season. I won't explain about them now, but I will just I won't explain all of them now because I want to save a lot of that stuff for the next season, but I just want to let you guys know this as well. Just as a heads up, Rita won't be technically the antagonist. There will be, I won't explain, but, there will be a new antagonist for the Rangers to face for, like, the first half of the second season. I am not going to say who that antagonist is just yet. I'm going to save that for the second season. But I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a heads up about that because of the fact that in this episode, Rita is casting a spell on the Wheel of Misfortune. She's casting a spell on Kimberly's grandmother's spinning wheel to create the dread Wheel of Misfortune. So, I just thought I'd mention that because that's kind of going to get referenced a lot in the first half of the second season. I just thought I'd mention that before I continued with the episode. Anyway, then what happens is basically, after Kimberly and the others leave, what happens is after Rita and her minions, after the scene where Rita says that she's gonna send a spinning wheel to crush the Power Rangers flat, and then basically what happens is after that is it goes into a scene where Kimberly's in the youth center with Ernie, and she's a little depressed because of what happened with her spinning wheel for the school play. And she tells Ernie that, not only is this gonna ruin the play, but she'll never be able to face her grandmother again, because apparently, this is what I know, apparently the spinning wheel that she has is her grandmother's antique spinning wheel, which she kind of holds pretty dear, which kind of makes sense because it's an antique. So when an antique breaks, you kind of get a little upset that it gets broken because it was entrusted to you, kind of thing. I'm just getting a little bit of technical, personal information out because of the spinning wheel thing. I thought I'd get that out of the way. Anyway, basically what happens is Kimberly tells Ernie that not only is this going to ruin the school play, but she might not be able to face her grandmother ever again. And then basically what happens is after that, basically what happens is Tommy shows up where Kimberly is at the youth center, and then Tommy asks Kimberly what's wrong, and then Kimberly says that it's the spinning wheel that they're using for the school play. And Ernie says that it's her grandmother's spinning wheel, and then basically Kimberly said that it's stuck or something, and then basically what happens is after that Tommy said that they should probably go check on it and stuff, and then basically she said that's a good idea, and then Kimberly's happy with Tommy for wanting to go to check on the spinning wheel and stuff. And then basically what happens after that is they go back to the school where the spinning wheel is, but before they show up in the building, Goldar and the rest of Rita's minions find Kimberly's grandmother's spinning wheel, and then, as I said, Rita will cast a spell on it, which will create the monster, technically, for this episode. Well, it's not really a creature-based monster, it's an object-based monster, but you guys get what I mean by that. Anyway, after Goldar and the others leave the school after finding the spinning wheel, and after Rita uses her magic wand to turn it into the dread wheel of misfortune, Kimberly and Tommy show back up at the school where the spinning wheel was supposed to be before Rita's minions grabbed it. And after they find out about that it's gone, they start talking with a lot of the people at the youth center to find out what happened to it. And then Tommy goes over to where Bulk and Skull are, and he's asking them if they've seen the spinning wheel, and then Bulk makes this sort of hilarious joke. This joke where he says that he was broke, so Skull decided to spin him some money so he could have his soda. And then Tommy says that he's telling Bulk that he's not kidding. Has he seen it? And because before they entered the youth center, they were asking a lot of people before they entered the main hall of the youth center, that if they've seen the spinning wheel for the school play. And then after Bulk makes that joke about it lending him some money to spin him for a soda, basically what happens is Tommy kind of gets serious with them, and he asks him if he has seen it, and he said no, he hasn't. And what would he want with a spinning wheel anyway? Oh my god, I'm sorry, but that's sort of stupid. It's sort of funny in a stupidity kind of way, because basically Bulk and Skull's characters for the original Power Rangers series, for most of the Zordon era, well, Bulk and Skull tenure on... Now that I've mentioned about these two, I'm just going to mention something very quickly about them. What their tenure is going to be for the series-wise. They're going to last for all three of the original Mighty Morphin series, seasons of the Mighty Morphin series. They're going to be in the mini segment of season 3, which is that 10 episode segment, which is the mini saga called Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. The entirety of Power Rangers Zeo Now they are gonna be in turbo, but for like the first half of it, they're not gonna be in human form. I say first half. I'm not gonna, because in the first half of them they'll be turned into, first they'll be turned into chimps, and then they'll be turned invisible, and then they'll last until in space, and then they'll both be in Lost Galaxy, except in Lost Galaxy, Bulk will be on Terra Venture while Skull's still on Earth. And after that, they won't show up again until the 10th anniversary episode in Wild Force, which is season number 10. I just thought I'd get that out of the way. I guess I could have explained that when I did the character bio, but I really didn't think it was necessary at the time. I just thought I'd mention that now. Anyway, continuing on with what I was saying earlier, Bulk says that no, he hasn't seen it, and what would he want with a dumb spinning wheel anyway? And then it goes, I'm guessing, then basically what happens is Rita uses her magic spell to turn Kimberly's grandmother's spinning wheel into the dread wheel of misfortune. And then basically what happens after that is then it goes back into a scene where the Rangers are back on Earth and in the youth center, and Kimberly is looking a little depressed, and then her friends show up and they're wondering why she's depressed. Well, actually, first what happens is they sit down and they kind of do the similar thing that she does, and then Trini asks her what's wrong, and then basically what happens is after that, oh my god, and then basically what happens after that is, Kimberly tells the other Rangers that they won't believe this, but her grandmother's spinning wheel is missing. And then Billy is wondering who would want to take this spinning wheel, but in fact it's actually Rita that has it. And then basically, then it goes to where Rita is, and she uses her magic to transform Kimberly's grandmother's spinning wheel into the dread wheel of misfortune. And then after the wheel of misfortune attacks the city, Zordon contacts the Rangers on their communicators, and he tells them to teleport to the command center. And then basically what happens is, actually first what happens is after she tells the other Rangers about who would want to kidnap, like who would want to take Kimberly's grandmother's spinning wheel, what happens after that is then it goes into a scene where Goldar is, and then he informs Rita that the Green Ranger is on his way to meet the other Rangers in through Angel Grove Park, and he sent the Putty Patrol to capture him. And then they manage to capture him, and then, well, first what happens is he starts fighting the Putty Patrol, and then he gets captured by them, and he ties them up in a rope. They tie him up in a rope and tie him to a tree kind of thing. And then basically what happens is after that, Goldar says that that's one Power Ranger down and 5 to go. And then basically what happens is after that, while they're wondering about the spinning wheel, Zordon then contacts them on their communicators and tells them to transport to the command center. And basically what happens is after that, once they arrive at the command center, basically what happens is, after they arrive, Zordon tells the Rangers that the mysterious disappearance of her, tells Kimberly that the mysterious disappearance of her grandmother's spinning wheel has been solved. Rita has stolen it. And Kimberly wonders why. And he said that it's so she could turn it into her own wheel of misfortune kind of thing. And then he tells them to look at the viewing globe. And he said that part of Rita's plan is to keep Tommy occupied while the other Rangers are busy. And then basically what happens is, afterward, they morph to their Ranger forms to deal with the dread wheel of misfortune and stuff. And then basically what happens is, after that, Rita then makes Scorpina and Goldar grow to deal with them as well, alongside the Wheel of Misfortune. And then while they're fighting the wheel, Alpha wonders, he tells Zordon that the Rangers need Tommy's help. And then Zordon tells Alpha to have patience because Tommy knows exactly what he has to do. And then it goes into where Tommy is, and then he's trying to break the rope that the putties have him tied up in by rubbing it across the backside of the tree, and then that he's tied to. And then after that, what basically happens is, after he manages to break the ropes a little bit, he tries to convince the putties that he's not feeling well, and that works. And then after that, he manages to get rid of the putties. And then, well, but before he gets rid of them, he says that those clay heads are unbelievable. He tells the putties that you clay heads are unbelievable. And then basically what happens after that is, Tommy then morphs to his Ranger form to help the Rangers defeat Goldar, Scorpina, and the Dread Wheel of Misfortune. And then after that, they manage to, after a little bit of a battle, they manage to defeat the wheel. But then Scorpina and Goldar get away. And then basically what happens after that is they show up. And then what happens in the next scene is the Rangers show up back at the school, and they're wondering about her spinning wheel. And then the spinning wheel shows back up at the place where it was taken from, and it was undamaged when it came back. Then Zordon, they're saying that it's a mystery, but then Zordon contacts them on the communicators to tell them that it wasn't a mystery. Once Rita's spell was broken, once Rita's Wheel of Misfortune was defeated, her spell was broken, and the wheel returned unharmed. And then basically after that, it goes into a scene where they're doing the play, and then like, it's not a rehearsal for the play, it's the actual thing. And then they're doing the same things with the lines again that they did at the beginning of the episode, but this time around, afterward, what happens is, but before the play part with Bulk started, Bulk and Skull are watching a news report that the Power Rangers have defeated another monster, because they were watching a TV show at the time, and the news reports interrupted it. And then basically Mr. Kaplan tells Bulk and Skull that they're needed on the stage, and basically what happens is they continue with the play, and that's kind of where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it today, just please give it the real best you guys can, and I'll see you guys probably next week for the next video. So until then, guys, like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.